This week's DRM Not Included on F5 Live Refreshing Technology is proudly powered by Amazon Prime. We all know that you get free shipping on millions of products with Amazon Prime, but you get a whole lot more. Like free music with Amazon Prime Music, free TV, movies, and documentaries with Amazon Prime Video, free games, and a free Twitch subscription to support the content creator of your choice with Amazon Prime Gaming, plus a whole lot more. We've got links to all of these features and some of our favorites, plus a 30-day free trial, all by going to f5live.tv/prime. So a lot of talk has happened over the last couple of weeks about the impacts of U.S. tariffs on a variety of things. But this week, an interesting report came out from the United Kingdom's Culture, Media, and Sports Committee, who generally believes that the cultural impact of British content being available to the world through streaming services is fantastic, but the business side of it has not been quite so good and has had a negative impact on the UK's ability to continue producing high-quality comedy, drama, things like that. Part of that is because a lot of the media landscape in the United Kingdom is government-run through the BBC and things like that. There's private production who doesn't seem to be quite as affected by this, but then BBC productions have changed. We've started seeing stuff shift to Dave or Channel 4, things like that. So what they're thinking is that they want to put a levy, essentially a tax, a tariff of sorts on revenue generated from, let me make sure I get this right. The report recommends a 5% levy on the UK subscriber revenue of streaming platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and Apple TV Plus. The levy aims to support British television production and ensure the sustainability of culturally significant content. Things like Doctor Who, things like that are produced by the BBC and then, in this case, I think licensed to Disney is who is now doing Doctor Who in the US. So the question is, what does this do to prices? We talked earlier about the increase in prices to gaming, Nintendo increasing game prices, console prices. What kind of impact would this have? Because there's not really a tariff structure on streaming subscriptions, because the subscription comes from is run in-house, and so basically they feel that the cost, the streaming services have taken viewers away from mainline television, and that has decreased the ability for cultural impact from UK production houses. And so they want to try and build a cultural fund. I don't remember what it's called. They always have weird names for their funds and stuff like that, to help maintain that industry. It's an interesting move. I don't know, because I feel like if a show is British and produced in the UK, the streaming rights that they receive should be helping pay for that content. That's me. What do you think, Abram?
So, what's interesting is, are you familiar, or is our audience familiar with the fact that British TV, you pay for £169 a year for a TV license?
For a TV license. Yep. And
So,
if you have a television in the house that you only use for streaming, they will still come knocking on your door if you haven't paid for the license. which is
Really?
doesn't which does not apply, but they'll still come knocking on your door. I've been following a guy who's been getting knocks on the door once a week for months, even though he doesn't have an antenna or cable.
So could this be a response to that?
Possibly.
The 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 fact that people are not watching BBC and are signing up for Netflix, and so
Hmm.
therefore, where's the TV? If those folks don't have to pay for a TV license,
Right.
uh, according to Wikipedia, which is never wrong, the number of TV licenses has gone down in the last few years. The number of
I
people
believe it.
buying TV licenses has gone down. So, uh, so therefore, um, therefore, it seems to me that you that they want to do this because otherwise they would get no funding for the BBC.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
the the licensing regime won't won't take it.
And thinking about it,
So
what's what's happening is that people are signing up for Netflix. They're not. Let's go with all of them that are here: Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, and Apple TV Plus. So somebody signs up for all of them, and then they are watching general content, and not as much of it is produced in the UK as it is in the US and Canada and wherever. And so they're not even receiving the streaming residuals on that content from the same people. So even the streaming residuals per viewer in the UK is going to be down versus uh, the TV license. That's what it
right,
is.
right. Um, I mean, and you've seen some interesting things like Doctor Who is now a joint venture between Disney
Yeah.
and BBC. It's no longer just a BBC production, um, which is kind of a shame because like I would like to see actual British productions.
Right.
I like BBC stuff. Now, unfortunately, if you like to watch British shows, even just those from BBC, I mean, it seems BBC is not. I don't know. I think ITV. I don't know where ITV falls in this. I think ITV is
Private.
just a private company.
Yes.
Um, but like all the British shows are either made by BBC or ITV, pretty much, right? So, um,
Dave and Channel 4 are in there a lot for comedy.
I happen to really like British mysteries, so the I subscribe to BritBox,
Hmm.
which is a here in the U.S. to get some of that, but they don't get everything. Um,
Right.
they don't get everything, and they don't get it in a timely manner either. They get it like 6 months later
Right.
sometimes. Um, and then some things go to Acorn instead of going to BritBox, and some things go to Netflix. It's, I mean, I really wish the BBC would just allow. I mean, there are ways of doing this off the books, but I wish BBC would just allow people to pay outside the UK to pay a subscription
Yep.
to BBC to get BBC iPlayer directly. Like they could get some money that they could help with their revenue by doing
Yeah.
that,
But then
right?
then the thing they have to deal with is licensing because they've got to
I
deal with
mean,
licensing music for outside the UK, which is stuff that they haven't quite prepared themselves for. There are issues, but issues that they could resolve.
yeah, I don't know. It just seems to me like the things are very split when it comes to if you want to watch all British TV, you 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 don't like some things go to PBS, right?
Hmm.
something you need to subscribe to. If you really want like a wide variety of UK content, you have to subscribe to like 5 or 6 different services.
Yeah.
Some things end up on Peacock, like you wouldn't expect, but there are some British shows that go to Peacock.
And in fairness, NBC and the BBC have had a long-standing relationship. NBC had a history of converting BBC shows to American.
Some
You know,
things go to Hulu. Like it's
Prime
there's
Video. If you want to watch 8 out of 10 cats, 8 out of 10 cats does Countdown. I think even Would I Lie to You. I think all of that stuff is on Prime Video, but that's Channel 4.
right. So, right. I don't know. It's there's too many different places you have to turn
Yeah,
to get your fix.
yeah. And then
I
some stuff you
feel
can't. If you want to watch QI, sad story.
yeah. I mean, and then stuff comes to like if you look at BBC iPlayer, they have stuff that comes that either never goes to the US or goes years later or whatever. So I mean, it's frustrating. So I wish they would be more, I don't know, friendly about exporting their content.
Yeah,
But I think the
I
obvious
would
answer
pay.
is they're.
I would pay a monthly fee for BBC iPlayer just for QI.
I mean, it would be BBC iPlayer would probably be quite popular if you could subscribe to it in the US. But
Probably.
um, but anyway, so yeah, I mean it's obvious that they're trying to make up for the television licensing
Yeah.
issue. Uh, it's an interesting thing culturally. I don't know about other countries. Do other countries do something like a television license, or is it only the UK that does this?
There are others from the to the best of my knowledge, mostly uh, former British colonies. Um, which, in fairness, is most of the world, depending on the era. But yeah, there are other places that I've heard of with a structure like this, but very few. I can't
Right.
name any of
Uh,
them offhand. So it's just the UK that I can name.
right. Yeah. So I don't know. 5%, considering all of the extra costs that uh, that we're all dealing with, 5% seems kind of small. People might not even notice the difference. So I mean, I don't know if they need to do this to maintain the BBC, then I guess they should do it. But then it's kind of lame if the BBC is receiving license is then like licensing their content out to Netflix or something like that, and you're
Right.
having to pay a fee on top of that.
Yeah. True. So
But
I asked Copilot just to try, and it says Ireland, which is a little unfair, technically not part of the UK. They have their own version of it. Japan, you pay the NHK. Germany, a broadcasting fee is mandatory for all households, regardless of TV ownership, which is interesting. France, a similar fee funds public broadcasters, though it has been restructured in recent years. And Pakistan, the TV license fee is collected through utility bills.
right, so not
Hopefully that's
not
correct, but
uncommon.
thank you, Copilot.
Oh, not uncommon. Um, oh well, you know. I know a lot. The company I work for, our home office is in the UK, and more than half of the employees are in the UK.
Mm,
Uh, and I don't know. I don't. We don't talk a lot about the television. We did talk about it once that they have to pay for their television license, but I think they're kind of used to that.
hmm
Um, you know,
It's an
yeah,
interesting structure for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's an interesting thing, and we'll see if it actually happens. It's just been proposed by what's it called? The Culture, Media, and Sports Committee, which doesn't have any uh, levying capabilities, but it's a recommendation. We have the whole document up over on the website if you're interested. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of F5 Live Refreshing Technology. If you did, please subscribe to the channel down below, and of course, hit the notification bell because we know that subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. If you've got topics that you'd like us to talk about in the future, please comment them down below. And if you'd like to not follow us on YouTube, there's lots of ways that you can follow along with our content by going to plughitslive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all of the ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.